Time for another Power Play show with Coach Frenchy, Andrew Lepage, Inortap, and Michael DiVelleno. It's time, Power Play show. Hey, welcome back to a special edition of Saturday Night, the Power Play Show with the Quadzua. Tonight, we welcome for the first time in the house directly from Vancouver. Mr. Will is in the house tonight.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Will. Welcome, Will.
We'll put you in the corner because we don't want to be too close to Inortap. He's going to make some difference with that, so we want to be sure Inortap is on my side in the corner, so I can control him a little bit better. But we have Mr. Inortap directly from Toronto, Ontario, is in the house tonight.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Will. Hello, Marco. Hello, Hockey Nation.
And from Ontario tonight, from Ottawa, I'm watching Team Canada right now. That's what I'm not paying attention too much. What I'm doing right now, Mr. Nata. Oh, yeah, it's Marco Larrabee is in the house tonight.
Bonjour, Hockey Nation. Bonjour, and welcome, everyone. It's going to be a good night. I think we're all going to be kind of taking little peeks at our screen here as we go along, but you have our full attention, I swear, but kind of.
That'd be awesome. First of all, we have Vancouver, we have Ontario twice, and then this will be my last time live streaming in USA. Until they maybe, we'll see if I can cross the border. So we'll see what's happening. But until then, this could be the last time of the week. And we'll be back next week. We don't know which day. So follow your notification, click on the bell, and you're going to see the next time we're going to do a live stream. This complete tonight, Mr. Nartap and everybody else, the year number 2 of the YouTube channel, the Hockey Nation Live Show. Honestly, we start August 25th and look like I'll be on the traveling during those moments. So we'll complete tonight year number 2. Going to see year number 3 with a lot of new things coming in the house for the next couple of months in front of us. So with new show, new insider, and new things, new logo, and new merchandise. But we keep the old man with me because we still the same age, and Mr. Inortap is good with us for the upcoming year. So it'll be great to see him aboard. We have a few people tonight. Tonight, first of all, we're going to talk about the 7 Canadian team NHL. We're going to go through them, each one of them, to see who is in, who is out, and what's the chance, what could happen between today until the beginning of the season. And then finally, at the end, we're going to talk about which team do you believe could make the playoff or not, and the division, and maybe one of them could be all the way to the final Stanley Cup. We'll see. But first of all, we're going to welcome everybody in the chat like we do at the beginning of the show. Mr. Luc Lafortune is in the house tonight. Said what a shot about Mr. William Dufour tonight. He's absolutely right about this one. Mr. Jose Duarte, the moderator, the Hockey Nation Live Show, the assistant captain, is in the house from upstate New York. Welcome back. We are going to be fine tonight. We have James Bond with us, so everything is possible. Mr. James Vinny 007 is in the house tonight. Number 1 fan at Toronto Maple Leaf. He can wait to see what we're going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leaf tonight. Mr. Lucky Luciano Graziano is in the house tonight.
Lucky.
And sometimes we call him the Bobby Bag of the Nuts, but sometimes we call him the game-winning goal-out game. Mr. Bobby back in the house tonight.
Hey, Bobby.
And we have Mr. Roger Delaney. Welcome back, Roger.
The master.
And then we have Adam. Dan Asham from Manitoba. He can wait to speak about the Winnipeg Jets. Sorry about that. I'm going to fix this very soon. Try to figure out. We'll see after that. Anyhow. And then we have Jose. We have Mr. Kirill Chevnikov. Ladies and gentlemen, Kirill Chevnikov. He's from the Maritime. If he's really the Chevnikov, we know, but maybe it's another one. But welcome aboard tonight. Thanks to be with us. And hopefully we're going to have a great time all together tonight. First of all, we welcome everybody. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. And then we're going to go through around the table, like the viewpoint. It was in a long time ago in Montreal, 1970s. Let's start it with Mr. Nartap. He's the only one who remember that TV show before the hockey start at 8 o'clock. Mr. Nartap, what's going on with you and what's going on during the weekend, and what do you have any news you want to talk about before we start the show tonight?
Well, it's all been good news. I mean, Canada's playing for gold tonight and they're up 2-0. My beloved Blue Jays have swept the Yankees.
Crazy.
My Alouettes won tonight as well. Big surprise over Hamilton. So everything's going well so far.
All right. Les Alouettes vont très bien. Before we move to the next one, we're going to welcome Mr. Kilo is in the house tonight.
Hey,
and Alan Barnes is with the Hockey Nation Live Show. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. If you don't mind, that'd be great. And Mr. Marco Larrabee, any news you want to talk about or anything you have or the fact the Alouettes are winning tonight or they win?
Yeah, I'm not a big CFL guy, but I share Intertap's excitement about the Blue Jays, especially after dropping so many against Baltimore. Just such a roller coaster year for them. We had such high expectations, so good for that. Yeah, really enjoying the game here. It was a good game earlier. Pretty tight game between Czechia and Sweden, so that was good. Mishak had a really nice, strong game, but having a good weekend. I don't usually have breakfast. I had a big breakfast today. We went out for breakfast with family and had a nice little nap this afternoon. I'm not a big nap guy, but I need it after having like a big breakfast. So feel energized and ready to go, Coach.
Awesome. Glad to see that. First of all, before we welcome Will, we're going to welcome the captain of the moderator, Mr. Danny T, is in the house tonight.
Danny T.
And from Utah, number one fans of Los Angeles Kings, Run with Kings 20. He is back in the house tonight.
What's up, Ron?
And a little bit open the door for the new insider of the Hockey Nation Live Show. He's going to be an insider about the Vancouver Canucks. Mr. Will, tell us a little bit more about, not your weekend, but a little bit more about you and how you fall in love with hockey. And, of course, you live in the British Columbia, so that may be the reason why you are with the Canucks. A little bit more resume and quick, and 7 seconds. I'm just kidding. 1 minute.
Well, then, first off, thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I love talking Canucks. I was born in Edmonton, so I started off an Oilers fan. So what happened was the Canucks took the Flames to 7 games in '89, and I fell in love with the Canucks then through my dislike for the Flames. So became a Canucks fan ever since, and pretty much nonstop since then. And weekend's going pretty well. It's really nice and sunny out here, and it's been great.
That's
my
awesome.
cousins are pretty freaked out about the Blue Jays there. They're up and down, but they're having a good night tonight, so cool.
Welcome aboard. Welcome to the family. And if in our talk fast like you, our show will be in 45 minutes and not 1 hour, 36 minutes. But it'll be, maybe he will learn something from you, Will, tonight. So we'll see how you're going to act tonight.
Sure.
Mr. In our top, Run with King 20. Did you see the fun fact?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
All right. So the fun fact of the day, guys, is of the 32 NHL team today, 12 won their first franchise game, 16 lost their first franchise game, and 4 tied their first franchise game. So you just want to share it with us. This is the fun fact. Honestly, tonight we cannot put your post in the screen because it's going to be in the face in our tap, and we don't want to. It's very important to see in our tap in the show. If not, so it will be the same. So we want to be sure we don't script him about this. 21 likes, so don't forget, guys, to click on the like. That'd be awesome. And that'd be great. Mr. King of Gamer, Mr. Nartap, is back in the house tonight.
King of Gamers, nice.
Welcome, King.
Great questions from that guy.
Welcome aboard, Mr. King. Always great questions, always great about hockey, and he likes to talking about hockey. So that's what we're at tonight. So what we're going to do, like I mentioned earlier, before we start, we're going to talk about each team. Everybody inside the chat, we're going to have some questions, some in and out players we're going to talk about, and some comments for everybody. That'd be great. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to put the letter Q in front of the question. We're going to do the best we can. And for you guys in the chat and the insider, I don't know if you can see the chat or not. In our top, can you see it usually or?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. Marco?
Yeah, I can see the
Will,
chat.
can you it or can you see it? You will or not?
Which is what I'm looking for.
The chat. If you see it, that's fine. If you're not, it's not a big deal. But
I don't think so.
All right. So William Snyder, first of all, welcome in the house. Secondly, he said, do you think the Flame or the Ab will be better next season? So in our top, quickly about this one over there.
The two teams were Montreal and Winnipeg?
Yeah, Calgary Flame.
Oh, Calgary. Montreal should be a little bit better, I believe. They'll still be struggling at the bottom of the overall standings, probably in the bottom, I would say 5, but I think we should see more competitive games out of them. Insofar as Calgary, I think that in the last little while, they've improved themselves from what it was 2 weeks ago, because I had them in a wild card position. I think they're going to battle with, personally, I think they're going to battle with Vancouver for a wild card position still. Yeah.
That'd be good.
I agree with that.
I'm not. I think Calgary's going to win the division, actually. It'll be close between them and Edmonton.
I don't know, man. I told you guys last week, nobody feel like believe me. But that's all right. That's a subject for another time about this one over there. Well, it'd be, I think that's honestly, we can't talk about a little bit, but I think Edmonton, Calgary right now, and Los Angeles. I think the biggest, the concern about the goaltender could be a problem for me. But otherwise, the 3 other teams, I think they'll be about this will be good. We have a question for King of the Gamer. I will try to put this there. I put this a little bit longer. Oops, about this. Let me fix this. There we go.
Hey,
we'll just under in our tap, that'll be good. Now it's appear. But with the center core we have, and you look at your 4. Well, I cannot help but we don't be at our team. This is Caulfield Anderson. Doesn't have that drawing. Got to get a slap au top. I cannot help but. Can you see the question in the chat? Or?
It's gone now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. I can't help
it. So you think we're not going to be a third team with the forward we have about this? What you thought about this, Marco?
Well, I think I agree with Enertap. Like, they won't be as bad this season. I think in our preview show when we looked at all the line combinations and everything, I think we all agreed that up front, I would argue that the Habs' depth is actually really strong. You can really roll out 4 good lines. Like, you could probably roll out 5 good lines with all the wingers that they have, and then now you add Monahan on top of that. But really, what's going to be the downfall of the team, I think we all know, is really, really young defense. Jake Allen being your number 1 goalie, and Mutombo, to me that spells bottom 5 in the league in terms of just overall goals against this year. I think it's going to be just as bad as last year, but I think he's right. Like, if you look at the forward depth, it's hard to even come up with lines. Like, who do you drop? Like everyone knows I don't like Hoffman, but he's
really?
Your fourth. Yeah, just in case no one heard, I'm not a big Mike Hoffman fan. But you have him as your 14th, 15th forward right now, right? So, so it's a lot of depth. So I agree, King of Gamers. Like, and again, we're not sure what Monahan's going to do, right? Like, we'll see if he can. I don't think he's going to start the season. They're not 100% sure. He looks like he wants to, but we'll see. It's you can never have enough healthy bodies, right? So, should be interesting.
That'd be awesome. We want to welcome from New Brunswick, Yann Gionnet. Welcome aboard. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. So is better. So you said the leave. Adam Berger is in the house tonight. Welcome aboard, Mr. Adam.
Hey, Adam.
We win that division. Vegas will win that division, Adam said about this one. Yeah, everything is possible for sure. About it, no, they are already passed. To everyone, the rumor of Flynn with Kane been traded to the Toronto, you thought big trade.
For Hall and Kerfoot in the second. Which is what Leafs fans would want.
I heard like today was more the Edmonton Oilers, no?
That's what I heard as well.
I don't know.
Sorry, they're talking about Evander Kane being traded to Toronto?
But the rumor today was Edmonton about the fact he will trade over there and they're retaining 50% of the contract.
Patrick Kane, we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think Patrick, not
Okay. I haven't heard that one, but I don't know. Yeah, well, that would be a huge move for Edmonton. I haven't seen anything, but like they would have to move some pieces around to make that work. But man, would that ever? I would definitely change my prediction about Calgary finishing first in the division if that happens. I think it's going to be pretty tight, but that would be a pretty massive move for them. Imagine Patrick Kane and McDavid together. Yikes!
Lethal.
Wow.
I think Edmonton have the necessary to give to Chicago Barry, Puljujevi, something like that, and maybe
Why would
maybe
Chicago
like
want?
They wouldn't do that.
Why would Chicago want Barry though?
Give them the money back to them. That's only they will accept a bad contract in return. They will give them a first round pick. They will give them like a Dylan Holloway or something like, you know what I mean? Like I just max, but I think they would get a bad contract and that trade for Chicago. It was not Barry the targeting for Chicago. We just
I think Puljujarvi would make sense, like for Chicago. You know, like you get a good young piece that's underperformed in Edmonton for many reasons. That could make sense. But if I'm Chicago, I'm getting a whole bunch of different bidders in on Patrick Kane. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity to kind of capitalize on that asset. That's your biggest asset. So you need every team jumping in and putting in their best offer.
Yeah, absolutely right about this one over there. Question. Let's go with for Will. Who will end up with a better record, Calgary or Edmonton?
Well, a lot has to go right for Calgary. They've made a lot of moves. It really depends. I mean, when you look at Tkachuk, Lindholm, and just that whole line that had a great chemistry, and it depends on how Huberdeau mixes with them. I mean, Huberdeau is a top-end talent. I don't see there's a lot of drop-off. When they got Weegar, I think they're a better overall team. So I think I've got to lean towards Calgary as well. I think they'll have more points in the regular season.
And our top?
The two teams were Calgary and
Edmonton.
Edmonton. Yeah, I still think Edmonton will finish ahead of them. Yeah, I just think their defense is still a little bit suspect, but they improved themselves. Are solid as they were last year. So I think it's theirs to lose.
Awesome. King for Marco. With the Vegas injury, would you put Vancouver ahead of Vegas or Los Angeles and the dead shot for Pacific Division? Also, do you think they can compete for the walkout with Nashville and Dallas?
Yeah, Vegas is it's a tire fire, right? Like it's things are they've been cursed by the hockey gods and whatever mystical things you can think of. It's bad. So yeah, like in terms of so how I see the Pacific Division, it's a really tight race between Calgary and Edmonton. Really for LA is a kind of interesting team, right? Because they had that really great kind of breakthrough last year. They still have some really nice prospects that are right there. I'm not sure if they're going to break through this year. Like you have Turcotte, Byfield, a lot of really good young players. I'm just not sure they're ready to take that extra step. Kopitar is 1 year older. I'm not sure Danault. I'm a huge Danault guy. I wish they would have kept him in Montreal, but I don't know if he can get 20 goals again. That was maybe peak Phil Danault. So yeah, like Nashville, they're taking their final kind of kick at the can here with the core that they have. So it's going to be tight, but I think Calgary, Vancouver at the top, and then I see Vegas is maybe they're going to fight for a wild card there if they're lucky, if they can kind of glue it all together and just scotch tape and just make it to the playoffs. It should be interesting though, but I'm not a big believer in what's going on in Vegas right now.
Yeah,
it starts and ends with
yeah. I think they'll address
the.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they'll have a good season. I think they'll address their goaltending at some point. Might not be right at the beginning. They still have very, very, very good players on that team, so I suspect that they'll be definitely on the inside.
I think for that one, I always said to you, the wildcard team in this year, that will conference the Vancouver Canucks. I think we don't talk too much about Canucks. They sleep behind everybody else, and that would be a little bit like the Dallas Star, or he would step up and they would go through like a little bit like the Los King last season. I think the Vancouver Canucks could become that team for the upcoming year.
I think we could see 5 teams coming out of there.
Yep.
I mean, last season was such a tale of 2 teams. They were the worst team in the league for the first half of the year, and then Boudreau took over, and they became a completely different team when everyone was playing up to their abilities. And, the realistic thing is they're probably somewhere in the middle. I think they're close to the Boudreau team, and I think they're definitely a wild card contender. Of course, I'd be happy if they were challenging for the division, but it has to be a really hot start from Pettersson this year, definitely, to make sure that happens, because he is kind of the engine. Him and Hughes are really the engine that goes. And, of course, right now everything is all about JT Miller. Is he here? Does he go? What's back? What are we getting? We're over the cap right now, so I don't know what the roster is going to look like. But come training camp, I guess we'll see. They've got a lot of potential. They have a great forward group.
That's a great
very
comments.
underrated. Very underrated for goals against too. Vancouver. I think they finished 7th overall in goals against. And looking at that D-core, you wouldn't think that, right? But it's kind of an underestimated D-core. Just a good system play, I think, too, right?
He had them playing an aggressive puck pursuit system where it really played to the strengths of their sort of lack of mobility in the bottom 6. And they were able to chip out the puck really fast and quickly and able to utilize their forwards, and they stayed a little bit closer as a pack unit. And I felt like that worked really well with the team. It was really masterful coaching, because that defense, I thought, was a tire fire. And they played very, very well to the end of the season.
And Boudreau is not really known as like a systems coach or anything, right? Like he's kind of like a mustard on your collar, go score some goals guy, more so than,
Well, we lost Brad Shaw to Philly, he was a really good defensive coach. So we'll see what they can do in his absence.
Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. First of all, Joseph Phillips, welcome aboard, Joseph. Thanks, Luciano, about this. We're going to go through this a little bit later, Luciano. That's the one thing we're going to, after we see every team. That's the first of all, Luciano, is a great question. But we're going to go through this at the end of the show after we review each one of them. And that'd be good. All need a goalie, defense, not Kane. I think they have a Campbell now, Joseph. I think they'll be fine for the upcoming. Try to get if we have any questions left and right. Look like they don't have no goalie, no question. I will move on all the way back. Nobody have a queue in front of any questions. So if you don't have no queue, guys, we're going to skip all your comments tonight. But because we try to go through the program. So if you have any question, let us know. Put the letter Q. We want to welcome Mr. SCR directly for Colombia. Welcome aboard. Buenos noches, Mr. CSR. Thank you so much to be with us. Hi.
Hello.
That'd be great about this one over there. That'd be awesome. So let's move on, guys, for the next discussion of the night. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is the Ottawa Senators. And we're going to talk about who is in, who is out, and what is could happen. And I don't know if Inartap or Marco or Will want to take in charge about that that team, the Ottawa Senators.
Go ahead, Marco, since they're in your
Yeah.
neck of the woods.
Yeah, I live in Ottawa, so I guess cover that. So yeah, like as everybody's aware, very active offseason for the Senators. Seems looking back over the last couple of years, the big problem there is really, really slow starts and really hot finishes, and everybody being really excited about what's coming up. Based on the strong finishes they have. So again, strong finish last year, really huge moves. So out, we can start with that. I don't have a list in front of me, but off the top of my head, out would be. They didn't really move a lot out. Like it's more what's notable what came in, right? So you have Claude Giroux that's out or in. You've got DeBrincat that's in, and then I'm trying to remember what else they moved out.
Was
a loss of Connor Brown is going to be a big loss for them, I think.
right.
Yeah. But did they actually move him out?
Yeah. I think so.
And where is he now?
They trade him.
They traded him to
Washington.
Yes. It was Washington. Yes.
Yeah. So looking at the lineup here, so yeah, like pretty solid depth, along the forward lines. Your third line, I guess it would be interesting to watch in terms of a breakout player, potentially Shane Pinto, player that has a really nice potential that got injured really early in the season. It's kind of slotted in there as their third center. But looking at the top six, like it's hard. You could argue it's one of the best top six in the Eastern Conference, I would say. Back end, not much of an improvement there. Still not really a solid partner for Shabbat. Goaltending, still a bit of I'm not a huge Cam Talbot fan. I see him as a decent 1A. So I'm just not 100% sure that the goaltending has been addressed to the extent that I would be comfortable. Like Anton Forsberg is also kind of a 1B. So listen, everybody's very excited for what's going to happen in Ottawa. There's potentially some players that break in and make the team there as well too. Like there's some nice depth there. Like I guess we're all also waiting to see what's going to happen with Jake Sanderson. That's everybody in Ottawa is going to be excited to see him play his rookie season. So lots of things to be excited about for Ottawa. So should be fun, man. Like hopefully coach will be able to cover them in some depth this year, because I think there's going to be a lot of interest around this team. I'm sure we'll go around and talk about where we think they're going to finish. Before Boston kind of made their last flurry of moves, I had Ottawa right there, for a wild card spot. I think it's going to be Boston and Ottawa kind of fighting for that final wild card spot.
Great comment. We welcome KLS is on the house tonight. Thank you to be with us. We have a question from Luciano. I believe the Ottawa and Toronto rivalry would be reborn. What do you think about this, Mr. Nortap?
I don't know if it ever left, to be honest with you. Those two have always been at each other's throats. You know what? I could see this intensifying, definitely, because we see an improvement in Ottawa, and so they're a more capable team and able to contend with Toronto to some degree. I still think that the Leafs will be the team to beat out in the Atlantic. They just have too many good solid players on the team. Their question mark always has been and continues to be in goaltending and slightly on defense, even though they made a little bit of an improvement there, especially if they can sign Sundin. But their forwards they're going to be a top 4 or 5 offensive team for sure.
I think two players I don't know we mentioned, Colin White and Adam Gaudette was two of them out of the lineup for them with that. And then Matt Murray, of course, we know he was already out for this. So I think I just want to mention this. So it'll be interesting. I don't think so. We have anybody else, some route mode. Everybody is excited about Ottawa in the chat. If I can turn around about this one. 2-0 Canada. RG Calabro is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in the house, Mr. RJ. About this, I know we'll go talk a bit later, but if you have a choice right now, do you see Ottawa in the playoff, or it may be just possible? What you thought about Ottawa will?
I think that they're going to go on hot streaks. I think they're going to have their ups and downs. I think that they have a level of legitimacy from getting Giroux there. I think there's some belief that they can do something that could be dangerous because I see a guy like Stutzla taking over and taking up and hitting the next level. It all depends on kind of how their D holds up and if their goaltending, as Marco said, that's pretty much their question mark. If they can kind of keep that from going off the rails, I think they have as good a chance as any. They're going to make some noise for sure. I'm just not sure if it's playoff worthy yet. I think it's wild card for a bit and probably bow out.
Awesome. We want to welcome Mr. Mark P. is in the house tonight. Mark, thanks to be with us. Awesome about this. If you want to go all the way down, if we have a question, Marco, Ottawa will make the playoff.
I think it's going to be really close, man. If Tim Stutzla can stop diving, I think they'll be just fine.
Good question about William Snyder. Who is the best player for the Ottawa Senators, Mr. Norta?
Oh, they got so many good youth on that team. I mean, you got to love Tkachuk, of course. I think Batherson showed us a different side last year. I loved what Norris did. Question is, can they repeat that the type of season that they had last year, especially Norris? I expect we've seen gradual increase and improvement in Chabot's play, and I think that as he gets defenders that can help him out, we will see him being sort of given a lot more reign out there, especially on the power play. So I anticipate that being one of their better players as well. But they've got a great core of young kids. Amazing.
For sure.
I think they need to try to give Chabot less minutes, right? Because he's he's out there too much, right? So they need somebody to play with him to make that a bit more well-rounded of a D. But he's just, I think if you look at how his effectiveness goes down a notch when he's playing over 30 minutes. So I think you're better getting 24 solid minutes from Chabot, so he can be really explosive and do his thing. But again, there's what's going to go on with Brandstrom? Is that guy going to finally break through? He was going to be a big piece coming from the Vegas Knights, so not really kind of the return that they were expecting so far with him. But I think, like I said from the top, it's really about their start. The last 2 years, they've had terrible starts. If they can even play 500 in the first 2 months, then at least they give themselves a chance, right?
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of speculation that they're not quite done yet either. They're still in the races to try to get Chychrun. No, Chychrun. And if they can, that would help Chabot quite a bit. We didn't even talk about Giroux. We didn't talk about the Brinkat. These guys are going to be definite guys with a little bit more experience coming at them and helping them out.
They used to be called the pesky Sens, but now they're going to be called the sexy Sens because everybody's going to be really excited to kind of see what they do this year with all these great add-ons, right?
Of course, the million-dollar question is always how will they click together?
Yeah.
Since there's been a lot of changes, that's the only thing that kind of has me worried because there's a lot of good teams that improved this year. When you look at New Jersey, you look at Detroit, Buffalo, and you still we like to count Pittsburgh and Washington out as old geezers, and we always say this is the year they drop off the map. I don't know. It's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs, but I think they have a great shot.
All right, let's move on. First of all, we welcome nobody, but I tried to get the question about this one. Then I tried to, and everybody in the question, if you go with question all subject, we don't want to get there because now we're going to go around. So we try to stay. Like right now, we talk about Ottawa, so you have a question about Toronto make the playoff. It's not related what we try. It's not because we try to keep the show on the same path all the way, not to go left and right and come back. So I know game when he talk about the goalies and Joseph asked this question, we're going to give you the answer, Joseph, in the next couple of minutes. But Luciano have a question. That's what I'm looking for. Question like Luciano, can DJ Smith coach a team with this kind of talent? Will any thought about this? Do you believe the coach for the Ottawa Senators can carry on that team all the way, or do you think he's going to have some difficulties with them?
Well, he was known to be great with kids, great with the youth. You know, he comes with that reputation, and he's won at every other level. I mean, I don't see why not. He hasn't really been given the chance to play with any talent to the point that he's gotten now. I think he'll be a good coach for them. I think there's a fit there.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks for your answer. Miss Kelly in the house tonight. Welcome aboard.
Hey,
Miss Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
No, Danny's still on my couch in Florida, Mr. Danny, leaving tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. At that moment, I'll be in the plane if they let me go in. What will stop Ottawa from making the playoff if they can make it?
I think I just named a few other teams that could get in their way. It's not them really not meeting expectations, but they are a young team. Will they click together? That's the big issue there. Can they get some more defensive assistance? Can they avoid injury?
The only thing I would say more the defenseman. That could be where I think if you have one area, it's really the defenseman. They will look like the Florida Panthers for me from last season. Is a team can score 5-6 goals per game, but it can give us 4 goals per game. So I think they'll be similar now. I understand Barca, Ribardo, but I think they have that kind of power on offensive. The top 9 players right now is the same, maybe one of the best top 5 in NHL right now. So I think they are
and they have to get off to a good start. The last 2 or 3 years, they've gotten off to horrible starts, and then they turn it around, but it's not enough. So they have to get off to a good start as well.
Yep. We have a confirmation, 2-0 after second period. Mr. Andy Kuivula is in the house tonight. Do you see the top 6 is better with Ottawa? Do you see the top 6 is better for 2023 with Ottawa?
Ooh, oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fire.
Philippe Laforcine predict DJ Smith will be the first coach of fire about that one over there. Here we go. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks for the next subject. And then, because right now anyway. The Canucks, who is in, who is out. Let's start with Will, maybe the closest the players right now insider close to the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe you have some in from us, Mr. Will, and Marco and Inatal can help you about if we miss some players.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, they've improved their wings a lot this year. The mandate was basically to try and improve the defense, and they have not done that yet. But they brought in McCabe, which I think is a great fit. His skating, his speed, and his penalty killing is exactly what the Canucks needed. And then we have a wild card in Andrei Kuzmenko, kind of won the sweepstakes there. I mean, he could be, Panarin, or he could be, Gusev, right? We don't know. Yeah. So that's an exciting thing to watch out for coming out of camp. Right now we have a lot of guys healthy going in, so I'm very anxious to see if they'll get off to a good start. They're a lot like Ottawa. They've had terrible starts the past 3 years and have been playing catch up and kind of just missed the playoffs. So it's a very frustrating thing to see from a fan point of view. As far as players have gone, they lost. Brandon Sutter's gone. He's not there anymore, but fourth line center. It's not really moving the needle. They brought in Curtis Lazar as a right-handed center, which is something they really needed last year. So I like that. They improved the penalty kill. And they brought in a guy named Dakota Joshua. And he's known to be a really tough, answer it physically kind of guy. Very good skater. So I like the possible fit there. After that, it's a matter of putting all these guys together and hoping there's some chemistry. Right now, they're looking great on the wings, very deep at center. I mean, they're a very hard team to play against if you've got JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, or Bo Horvat as a center that you have to play against. So I mean, we'll see how it goes, and if the defense can hold up, I like their chances of making the playoffs. They're definitely a wild card team this year, though, for sure. They'll be right there till the end. If they get up to a hot start, who knows?
Great resume about the Vancouver Canucks. Then he wants to know, Marco, if you want to go to the game with Roger and DANY.
Absolutely, let's do it, man.
Yeah, just be sure don't sit beside DANY. Because if he eats popcorn, he's going to steal your popcorn. He would take it. So he have all the kind of the tricks like this. Say, look, the popcorn.
He's a former policeman. So
the peanut, the popcorn. You have to be careful. The good news, they don't have shrimp at the rink, so he's going to be maybe sub at the buffet at the Mandarin before you go to the game. But that's not a subject about this. About that's the one about that. But let's move back again. We have a couple of great questions. That's a good thing. Ron said, "Does Vancouver make the playoff if they can not keep Miller, Mr. Enata?"
Probably not. I mean,
go ahead.
That's one of the question marks, right? I think that's been looming over their head over the last year and a half, whether they're going to get rid of him or not. So without him, I don't think they do.
I tend to agree. One over there. He's a huge. It would be a huge loss on the ice for them. He's penalty killing. He's on the top power play. He's setting guys up. He's scoring goals. I mean, he's kind of the motor of the team. He's the energy and the motor and the energy that they follow. He's kind of the on ice emotional leader of the team. I get the business side of it. I love him as a fit. I'm hoping they can maybe re-sign him for under $8 million, but I don't think that's going to happen. And if we can get a nice young right-handed D, something in the Chychrun range, I mean, that would be fantastic. I know there's been a lot of rumors about the New York Islanders. I don't think that we're going to get Noah Dobson, but one can hope. But yeah, I think losing Miller, takes the team a step back, but depending on the assets, probably sets them up better for the long term.
That's awesome. Thanks so much. But we want to welcome David Arthur is on the house tonight. Thank you to be with part. And then deal or no deal, but we have real deal prim. So that's the most important things. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. Kelly, I have a question, but I'm going to change this because we don't talk about Toronto yet. Do you think Mikheyev is a big plus for the Vancouver Canucks? Marco.
Oh man, I agree with Vancouver needed some more depth at wing. I think Mikheyev is what he is. So he's not going to be somebody that I think if you put him in a higher spot in your lineup, I don't think his production is going to increase that much. He's kind of a Lehkonen-ish kind of guy where really good speed, really good, on special teams, but just doesn't have a lot of finish, right? So I don't think it's a huge loss for the Leafs. The Leafs, we're going to talk about them. I think I'm concerned about their depth. So losing him in that perspective, I think it hurts them. But you can't afford to keep guys with $4 million cap hit on your third line, and he's not going to move up your top six. So listen, Vancouver needed a guy like that. I think it's a bit of an overpay for him.
Definitely.
But yeah, so maybe he gets you 15, 20 goals, but he's not somebody that's going to blossom into a 25, 30 goal scorer, but he's going to provide you really. And I think, Will, we've talked about this, Vancouver needed to address team speed as well too, so that does a really good job of helping there. So good fit for Vancouver. They've kind of got themselves out of cap hell here a little bit with players like Roussel and those terrible years when Gillis had all those he signed all those old guys, and so they're just starting to get out of there. But they have OEL, that's still a huge cap hit. So it concerns me, when you get into those kinds of troubles, because again, you have the really elite kind of top players. You're going to need to re-sign Miller, and then you don't really have anything to really ice a competitive and balanced team. So they're there right now. but that's going to change when some of the other players come up that they're going to need to re-sign. So Mikheyev, nice fit, but I think Toronto will be fine without them.
So here's my question for you guys. If you are an NHL player and you play with Pierre Ekval for 2 years, do you guys expect to score 20 goals? Now, if you play with Elias Pettersson on the second line, do you expect to score 20 goals? That's my biggest thing about Mikheyev. If you put him on the, if he was playing with John Tavares and the second line, I think Mikheyev will score 20, 25 goals. I think the chances are there. But if you put him on the player with the, it's like sometimes you have to figure out, okay, who play with who? Like everybody crashed on Gallagher, but he played with Dauphin. From Dadar and Dano, and now you go play with Dauphin and Pitlick. That's another subject. It's anybody will do that. So for me, I don't say he's a 25 scorer, but I think if you put him on the top 6, would be interesting. I would try to go there to see what he looked like for sure.
They're going to put him there. Well, they're going to put him there because they want to give him a chance, right?
The thing is about Vancouver is with those 3 centers is that he's going to be playing with the great center no matter what.
Yeah.
If it's top 9 role, they've kind of rotated all 3 centers evenly. I think that there's a chance that his offense could be a little more. I know his finish is off, but Vancouver doesn't need him to score 25 goals per se. They need him to move the needle on 5-on-5 play and on the penalty kill, much like Toronto really benefited from. And I think they're going to really miss him.
Awesome.
And just a question on Vancouver, Will, like, you know, so when you say they have their top 3 centers are Pettersson, you know, and Miller and sorry,
Horvat.
Who's the third guy? Horvat. But Pettersson didn't play a lot of center last year. Like, are they really there? I don't think they're going to go top 3 with those guys. One of them is going to play wing, right?
Well, they did in the last 40 games when they were on their winning streak. They were all playing center. So it's where they put Pettersson on the wing to start the season because he was struggling so bad. But the word is he's healthy and he's confident, and so I think he'll be starting at center for sure. He's a much better player at center.
All right. Mr. Nartap, next question for you. For the given division, who do the Canucks need to knock off to make the postseason?
I would.
Well, they've got, like I said, they have 5. I think probably 5 teams could come out of the possibly out of the Pacific this year. They would have to probably knock out Dallas. That would be one possibility. Maybe if things don't go well with Vegas, but I suspect that they'll be okay, Vegas. That'll be the team that comes in. Nashville, I think, will still be a decent team because, you know,
you put Nashville behind Dallas?
No, I think that they're ahead of them. But we're saying if somebody has to falter right now.
But now my point is, like, if you go 5-3, Minnesota, Colorado, St. Louis are in. Nashville.
Oh, you're assuming. Okay.
No, but they should be all in.
I don't know if we're going to see the same Minnesota team. I hope so because I like that team a lot. But I think that they lost a little bit on defense. They lost. It's going to hurt that they lost Delorier because he gave him that safety.
No, not at all. They have.
It does.
I'm not agreeing with you about that one over there because they have Grayley, they have Foligno. They are starred over there. Delorier was the number 3 behind everybody.
The reason they got Delorier, though, was so that Foligno would not have to fight as much as he did. They need him to score, and they just weren't doing it last year. Now they lost Talbot. Feel like, you know, you want about Talbot, but can Marc-Andre Fleury handle at his age an entire season? I don't think so. So I suspect Minnesota.
But which defenseman they lost? You said the defense is not like he was.
They had the guy from Anaheim. Who was it? They picked him up with the Delorier.
Middleton?
At the same. Yeah, I think it was Middleton. Yeah.
Now he's still there.
He's still there. I thought they got rid
The
of
big
him.
loss for Minnesota is Fiala, right?
Fiala's another one.
Yeah.
You're right. Absolutely.
And there's Foligno, and he had a 40-point season. And I also saw Ryan Hartman with 35 goals. And I can't see them not regressing, but that's way above the mean of those guys.
Like I hope they do, Coach.
They just signed him 3 years, Mr. Notap.
They signed them, okay.
Ryan
Yeah,
Hartman.
so I just want to, because when you said they lose, I don't see they lose. They have the same quadrilla people. They have Kulikov is back with Kulikowski and Merrill, and now they have Middleton. They have a 7 defensemen solid over there. They have Fleury in the net. That's not a problem. Then after that, they're forward. You have to add 2 players, rookies over there. You have to add John Rosie, and I missed one over there. And the productivity, the Fiala guys, relax, because Boldy is going to pick it up a lot of what they don't have. The concern, like you mentioned, all of you, is Hartman. Can he repeat the same kind of goal he did last season? That would be the biggest thing about this. But when you play with Kaprizov, the opposite is there, so you can pick it up the name. I don't know what is the percentage of shooting for him. That will be something I will be curious about this to go around, but it will be interesting about this. Let's move on, because we're still now on the same plateau where we are. And looks Canucks, my second favorite team, going back to the King brother. Bobby, he said, I think Vancouver would be like last year, get Ottawa and then just miss getting the wild card. And then, are you concerned about the Vancouver defense? Let's go with Will. Definitely, he knows better than anybody else.
The question is, absolutely, yeah. I think everything went right for them last year, and it's the same as saying, Hartman is going to regress. These guys all had amazing seasons for what they were able to offer and played above their pay grade, and I don't see that happening again. They are woefully thin on the right side of the D. They've got Myers there. OEL and Myers formed a very nice shutdown pair, but you're still got Luke Shen, as good as he is and as admirable as he is as a player. You got him playing top minutes with Quinn Hughes. That's not utilizing Quinn Hughes enough. And after the second pairing, you've got guys like Kyle Burrows. These guys are fringe guys. I'm definitely concerned about the D. I think that will be the issue with them if they are not successful next season. Will be they desperately need to add one more right-handed D, possibly 2.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say to you that they missed a right defenseman, but now Pullman did not play last season over there. I know it's not a big defenseman, but at least satisfy the third pairing over there for sure. There'll be someone to get over there for sure. And we want to welcome in the house, ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Laham from Houston, the barbecue. So again, not a problem, David. It's all good, my friend. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. And then we have Luciano said last season, MICHEL 53 game, 20 goal and 33 2-point. Leave was the loser and losing him. That's what I said, guys. I think if you put him on the right chair, it could be productivity will be a bit higher about this. He could become a little bit like a Sam Bennett. For the Florida Panthers, not so the style player, but a kind of the productivity he did not get in Calgary. Now he get with Florida. I think McCabe could become that kind of the player like that over there. And see what we have. Jose said, will they rate J.D. Miller? And off top, if you have said yes or no, or maybe, what it would be your answer?
I think as long as they're in a chase for a playoff spot, then they won't. He definitely gets dealt if they get off to a really bad start, and it looks like they won't be able to recuperate from that.
But you can't let them walk for nothing, right? Like
no.
You presume at this point, like they've had to. I think I saw some indications that JT Miller does want to stay in Vancouver.
He does.
He does.
So.
Yeah.
There's not something like you can't let a big piece like that just walk away. So I'm sure that they're doing their due diligence right now, trying to understand that. And Coach, what was that rule you were talking about signing players that are about to hit 30 that's the sketchy thing, right? Like the first 4 years of a deal with Miller are going to be great, even at 8-9 million, but then he's going to want a 7-8 year deal. That's a risky proposition. Oh shit, Finland just scored. So yeah, sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
so
so
I
that's the
find with
risky thing with the. Go ahead, Will.
his game is not predicated upon of his physical stature. He doesn't really rely on speed so much. It's the way he thinks the game. I think he has a better chance than a lot of players to age gracefully into that contract. But yeah, like you said, it's such a huge risk. And I mean, we're going to be talking about aging contracts pretty soon once we get to Calgary.
That's awesome. We want to welcome Corey Perry. No, it's the Corey Hill. Corey Hill, directly from Nova Scotia, usually is only a neighborhood of the Marco. He lives in the Ottawa area. So welcome aboard, Mr. Corey. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. Who was the third forward next to Sidon's brother named Alex Bureau? And then that's what we got at that moment. And then the Finland, like you said, Marco just scored. By the way, I'll just show you, I'm a little bit behind everybody here in the house. Kenny, Vancouver could make the playoff with Bruce behind the bench. You thought about this one over there? Yes or no?
Definitely.
Jeez, they got a shot, man.
The record
They
shows
have a shot.
Yeah.
All right.
They have a shot. You got to look at the 18.
Yeah.
What about the Vancouver goaltending? Will?
I think that they have a goalie in Thatcher Demko that is bordering on Vezina quality seasons. I think this year he'll be in the conversation for that. If they can keep his games managed, I think that's fantastic. They have a really great goalie coach in Ian Clark, who's worked really well with their young guys. They've Spencer Martin played a handful of games last year and was phenomenal. So they're giving him a crack at it, and I think they're going to sign another veteran goalie before the season just to keep up the competition. But it looks like it's Spencer Martin's job to lose, and all indications point that he's ready to take on 20 games. And if he can play capable in those 20 games, it's going to go a long way to keeping Demko healthy and dominant. And that actually will be a very big indicator on Vancouver's playoffs hopes, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll welcome Mr. Angelo is in the house tonight. Welcome back in the house, Mr. Angelo. About this one over there, 2-1. And then and let's move on to the next team. And let's talk about Winnipeg Jets. Mr. And I top, you're the closest one for the Winnipeg.
Closest one? No, not really. But yeah, what can be said about Winnipeg? Like, to me, on paper, they could have great players, which they do. But there's huge internal rift on this team. And until they can solve that, I don't see this team making the playoffs, I'll be honest with you. They also cannot keep playing Hellebuyck as much as they do. They just drive this guy into the ground. And because of it, he's not as effective as he possibly could be. Their defense is just above average in my eyes. I thought Morrissey had a decent year last year, which was good. But the other guys, they just at the mediocre level. The forwards, very, very talented. I just don't see them clicking right now. Something has to happen that will, and this whole Pierre-Luc Dubois thing, as much as they say it's settled, it's in the back of their heads. It's in the back of Dubois' head that he wants to leave. It's in the back of Winnipeg's head that they're going to lose this guy probably for nothing unless they can get him traded. So that creates rifts.
How is that good in the room, right? That's just
exactly
can't be good in the room.
I mean, when their coach leaves midway during the season for no apparent reason except to get the heck out of Dodge, something's wrong.
Yeah, I just want to mention a couple of things over there. They don't lose a lot of players over there. They only lost Paul Stastny, if you think about this. The same defensemen are all returning over there. They lost the goaltender, Eric Comrie, for David Redish is back over there. But otherwise, they gave back Mason Appleton back with them. But It's first of all to be sure they are healthy, but I just want to mention who is in, who is out. And so anything, if one of you, Will or Marco, want to pick it up here. Remember, I want to mention to you, Cole Perfetti should be with them for the coming year.
Yeah.
So I think he's one the rookie. Nobody talk about Winnipeg Jets all the time. He's maybe the best one. I don't think so. Chance Lucius to have a spot for this year. Too young about that one over there. Now we said if really Enola as defenseman for Team Finland could become someone, could be a little bit more consistency, stay with them. That's pretty much the two players I see in the lineup as a rookie. So next one.
Yeah, they took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, like, to counter all the negativity, which I agree with that Enertat brought up, that's going on with that team. It's just kind of a weird thing happening over there. Really, the only bright spots are Perfetti. That is a really exciting player to watch evolve this year. Heinola, I'm surprised they didn't have him up earlier in the year. They had a lot of injuries back there, and they've given him a couple looks, but I think he's got to be ready to come in and do something now. Like, they definitely need him to come up. But yeah, Perfetti is a really tantalizing player. I think he jumps right into their top six. To me, depth is now an issue, right? Like, we were talking about how strong the top six is for Ottawa. Depth with Winnipeg, like, that was always their strong suit throughout the Cheval Day off years, right? Like, having players like, did the Finland just tie it 2-2? Damn. Okay. So so depth is always an issue, right? You got players like Armia and players like that, on your third and fourth lines, and now looking at their lineup. So yeah, you have Appleton that's there. You got Lowry, but then after that, like, I guess, because I think you would have Perfetti in your top six, but maybe it's a good idea to spread it out a little bit, have him not put too much pressure on him to start. But I don't see this as a playoff team. I don't see the Jets as a playoff team for all the reasons that Enertat mentioned.
All right.
I agree with you, Marco. I just wanted to add one thing to that, was that I think you're underrating the possibility of Jansen Harkins taking a step up. I've been really impressed with that kid's game, and I think that third line
Good energy
is a strength of theirs. That third line could dominate, but I mean, that's not a playoff team necessarily. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs either.
Here's some comments from Luciano. Only one comment, disaster. No one wants to play there anymore. So that's a good one over there. One will the Winnipeg stop shooting themselves in the foot? Well, you can check if Marco has lies about that one for the Winnipeg needs some major front office change from Luciano. I'm sorry, Danny. I believe Winnipeg is the most disliked Canadian team. How many 30 goal scorer for the Jet for upcoming year?
Probably Connor for sure. And
three.
Maybe Shifley.
Yeah, and if Ehlers is healthy, maybe. Yeah,
Ehlers too.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, yeah.
We're gonna keep to them in Atlanta for Angelo about this one over there. All right. Try to get if we have any. What's for the Jet hug the hat on the Sheffley and Burge. Anyone we did not like it, they make the bed for that one. Does Winnipeg have the ice tool to compete in the Central Division?
I don't think
they
so.
Have the tools. They have the tools, but I just don't think that their head space is there. Their mindset is definitely not there.
Well, they're bringing in. Who's the new coach for Winnipeg? It's what's his name? Bonus, right? Like, it's been there for like 1,000 years. So he's a good players coach.
Yeah.
He might get them. He might kind of reboot the atmosphere. Have them do sing-alongs and all that. Like, get the atmosphere a little bit better. But at the end of the day, like, to me, the big anchor with that team is Blake Wheeler, right? Like, he's just not following the play like he's used to, and he just takes up so much cap space that I don't know what you do there. It's going to be a really hard contract to move.
At his age,
I don't know.
All right,
he's banged up. He's done.
Yeah.
He's pretty
Yeah.
banged up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound good. Let's move on. Next team, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ooh.
Mr. Nortap, you're still in the mix on that one over there.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, I think they should probably win the Atlantic Division in my eyes. Their talent up front is very strong on the top two lines. You know, guys like Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander. You know, expect a good year probably out of Yarncrow as well. I'd like to see, of course, Bunting, but once you get below there, I don't know how that depth really goes. How far it will take them defensively. They're a little bit better than they were last year. Same, but it's minor. They still need somebody to complement Riley.
Yeah.
They need depth at the 5 and 6 position at defense. Their goaltending, I still think Samsonov is probably going to be the better. It's going to be the surprise here, and not so much Murray. It's been a number of years that he's proven to get injured, and it's not something that he'll be shielded from by the Toronto defense, because they're just not deep enough to help him out.
Really, yeah. So
Yeah.
I look at their decor. Really, the only question mark on their decor. Okay, nothing has officially tied it, I think. Okay. Yeah. So really, the only issue I see on their decor is Justin Hull. You know, I think he played in their top 4 last year, but top pair, you've got Riley with Brody. I think you're totally fine there. I think Riley gets all the support he needs there. Really, it's just, is Muzzin going to be able to stay healthy? I think Liljegren took a huge step forward last year for Toronto. Somebody that was a pretty high pick for them and is finally starting to, you know, and he's a right-hand shot, he played a lot of minutes with Giordano last year. So maybe that's a sneaky good pair, because Giordano arguably on one of the best value deals in the league right now. What is it? $750,000 for 2 years.
Yeah.
For Giordano.
That was awesome.
Dear
That
God.
was awesome
Yeah.
for them.
Great signing.
Hometown. Yeah. So I don't know. I like their D. I agree. Really, where the issue is there is with their depth. So their third line right now shapes up to, being David Kampf, Yarncroke, and Engvall. I don't think Toronto's done. I think they'd probably like to do one more thing here before the season starts. They need to sign Sandin, but I don't know. It's Toronto. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
The question
I
is
think
the
an
playoffs.
underrated.
Yeah,
I think an underrated thing
regular
there is
season doesn't even matter.
No.
So they swapped out Spezza for Gaudette, and I think if they're counting on Gaudette for anything defensively, they're in trouble. He's not a good fit there. So they're going to need to upgrade the defense on the bottom 6, or the center position.
So they have two players last for the goaltender are gone. Marichek and Campbell is out. Defenseman, they lost honestly. Lipushkin is the only one they lost over there. On the forward, Mikheyev is the really one they lost. Odereg Case is another one there. I don't think so. They signed Blackwood back in that team over there. And they add Adam Gaudette. Joe Anderson with back again. They signed Obi Kubel. Here's another one. And they signed John Kruk. He is the one joined the team. Otherwise, they have the same kind of lineup, everything like that for them. So we have a couple of questions in the chat. First of all, Kelly said, do you believe Matthews score 50 goals next season?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Should Toronto stay away from Boston and the playoff?
I don't think Boston is relevant enough next year to be in the conversation. Yeah. Honestly, I think Boston's taken a massive step back, and really, I know everybody likes to harp on Toronto for their first round failures, but they played the Stanley Cup chance extremely well. They got them up against the ropes. It's a learning curve for them. I think that they're going to take a step forward from that point of view.
7 years.
All right,
It's a long
Corey,
time.
we talked already about Ottawa Senator at the beginning, Corey. So it's not because we try to stay on the subject of the team and not go around. And we apologize. If not, it's not going to be. It was going to be a long night. And for everybody in the chat, stay in the subject. I don't want you guys talk about your personal life or what's going on around your life. It's not a channel to bring your point of view about what is your family have or everything like that. It's a channel talk about hockey here. So it's general when I mention to you guys, but stay on the subject and don't mention everything outside of what we're talking about. That'd be great. Again, it would be better for everybody when you stay in the subject we talk about like tonight. So I appreciate that. 2-2 right now between Canada and Finland. Thanks so much about this one. Do you think the Leafs should change their jersey to green for luck in the playoff? About that one over there? Possible.
I don't like those jerseys, man. I don't like those
We'll
jerseys.
see about this. Why have not the Leafs won the cup? So long one they have God chosen team. Is it a sense of the humor about indeed, about that one over there?
Maybe.
Does Toronto first round exist curse and the end the season?
Well,
I
King,
think so.
look at who they're possibly going to be playing. It's if they finish first, then they're looking at one of the wild card teams. So that would definitely help them. If they finish second, then you're looking at either Florida or Tampa again. It's going to be a tough ride.
For sure.
Not saying it's not
Imagine,
possible, but
Imagine Leafs and Sens in the first round. Sens finish wild card and Toronto finish. That'd be fun.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest
Agent of chaos.
concern about first or the second about that one over there. Mark, thanks so much for your comments about this. I'm a Flyers. I'm rooting for the Sabres. And the rest, thanks so much about this one over there. I still wear my Thrasher jersey and jello. How can we get the division with the horrible goaltending?
I don't think that, like, I don't know, like, I like Samsonov. Like, I think we've all, I have my doubts about Murray as well, too, right? But listen, like Campbell, I list Campbell is a really popular guy last couple of years, a really sweet kid. Everybody kind of rallied around him. So I'm sure a lot of Leafs fans didn't like to see him go. And to be honest, you know, they could have kept him for like $400,000 more if they had ended up kind of really paying for their goaltending. So, and Dubas has a history with him. So there's something I think that just went really off track for whatever reason, the negotiations between Campbell and the Leafs. So it is what it is, man. Like, I think you have a nice duo there. You know, there's a huge, like, goalies right now are an endangered species in the NHL. I swear to God, like, they're retiring earlier. They're getting injured a lot more. So you're going to see more and more teams kind of roll the dice on these 1A, 1B situations. And as far as those go, it's not a terrible tandem. You know, like, I think Samsonov has a lot of upside. And if Matt Murray can somehow, keep his body from falling apart again, then he's won 2 Stanley Cups, man.
I think if he can readjust his game to not use his body so much and react to saves and actually play positionally and a little bit more efficient with his movement, side to side especially, he has a chance to rebound.
I've heard people make comments about the goalie. Like, he hasn't really benefited from a top tier goalie coach in a while, Matt Murray.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's something. He gets a different goalie coach. They learn to manage his body a little bit more and have a style that's a little more conducive to kind of how his body works, the mechanics, and we'll see. I think they'll be okay in that. Like, I think they'll be okay.
Luciano ask a question at top. Only have one thing to focus on, that's defense. Agree or disagree?
I think that's one of their major areas, but it's also their depth. It's, as we mentioned, will the goalies hold up? Ideally, if these guys can play like a 50-30 split between Murray and Samsonov, that would benefit both of them. It will help keep Murray healthy. And let's not forget, they also have Shalgren, who we dismiss him, but really he kept them in last year for the most part in the regular season when they weren't blessed with Mrazek in net, or Campbell was hurt as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
they should be
But what
okay there. I just question, they have a good defense, but it
yeah.
just doesn't have that umph like that I think it takes to take them to the next step.
I don't know, man. Like again, like which out of those guys is a weak link other than
Well,
Justin
they
Holl?
haven't signed Sandin yet, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liljegren did make great strides last year. Riley, I thought, should have had a slightly better year, but he was still solid. Muzzin
Sure.
was disappointing in my eyes. I saw him lose a step in his skating. Brody was okay, not as good as the previous year. And if you look at these guys like Giordano, Muzzin, Brody, even Hall, these guys are over 30 years of age now.
Yeah, like Muzzin for sure. I think Justin Holl is younger than that.
I think
let me see.
No,
he's
all
30.
is at 30 years old.
He's
Yeah.
30, yeah.
Yeah, they're all 30.
I mean, it's not-
just Riley is at 28 on the top four.
Yeah.
And Liljegren, right? Yeah. I'm not that concerned about like their decor overall. To me, the biggest problem with the Leafs is always playing the right way, right? Paying the price. So it's just about going into the middle of the ice. We talked about this, when we were talking about Huberdeau and during the last playoffs, right? So you need your top 6 most talented forwards to pay the price during the playoffs. So that's really all it is for Toronto is Matthews, Marner, Tavares, I think, has that maturity, but Nylander, they just need to understand that you need to get to the middle of the ice. You're going to take your lumps, but that's just the price to win. Block shots, play the playoff way. And if they're not going to learn it, if they haven't learned it so far, they're not going to learn it, but I think they probably have.
Awesome. Mr. William McClary, welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us tonight. We have Mr. Free Stuff back in the house tonight. Mr. Free Stuff is back. Here we go. Can Toronto defense help both Murray and Samsonov?
Yeah, like I don't see why not. Like again, I believe in that decor. But yeah, like it's a team concept. It's not just like that's the thing that people don't realize sometimes, right? It's not just the defenseman and the goal. It's a team play, right? So it's how they play the game together as a unit. So it's again, I think we all know the regular season doesn't matter for Toronto. It's all about the playoffs. So let's get to the playoffs and let's see if they finally learn their lesson and know how to play the game when it comes to the most important time of the year.
We want to welcome Alan Vaillancourt. Welcome back, Mr. Alan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan.
When was the last time Toronto won a playoff? Which team did they beat? Talk about
Ottawa.
6 years ago.
2004 Senators.
Ottawa
Ottawa
Senators.
Senators. Yeah.
Free, he love Samsonov. Will Toronto try to improve the team with more trade coming for the next couple of weeks? Enough tap.
I don't think they're done.
Yeah, I think they still have another move to make, although I think they're about $1.5 million over budget right now. So they have to be very creative on what moves they make, but I think it's possible, and I think it's necessary.
If I was Toronto, I would be looking at moving one of the big four if I could to get in on the Chychrun sweepstakes, because I think if they had one more good defenseman in that top 4, they're looking great, and I think that they could sacrifice one of those guys. But it's probably too big of a contract. But maybe I've heard Nylander for Chychrun about a month ago, but we'll see what happens.
It's not enough. Arizona's asking for a couple of firsts and a solid prospect.
Here we go.
I think Dubas is in love with his core 4. I don't think he's moving. Like it's kind of, remember Bergevin said like the day that Weber and Price get traded is the day that I am not here anymore. Same kind of thing. I think Dubas is locked into those 4 guys.
William asked a question. In the playoff, do you think the Leafs have to reach to be considered a success this coming year? First round win or cup or a buster?
I think that they need to get to the third round before anybody says anything about success.
Yeah, agreed.
It's unbelievable that winning a round is like a plateau that is considered successful. But yeah.
What a relief in Toronto if that ever happens, eh? Wow. You'll feel
They
it across
have
the
two
country.
priorities this year: pass the first round and find a way to keep Matthews in Toronto.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
They have not improved the defense at all. All is still there. You're not signing Sandin. Also, the sign was not good through anymore depth.
It's hard to bring in depth when you have so much money locked in at the top. So Robertson is going to come in. Is he ready for prime time now? At least play on your third line consistency. Really nice player, a lot of speed. They have a couple of good prospects. They have Nyes, who played in college last year. So you have some young players. That's what you need to do in the cap era is fill out your bottom six and bring in people on ELCs and early entry level contracts and plug them into your lineup, or else you're not going to be able to compete.
Yeah. Kelly, I don't see Matthews to get signed before 2 years before the salary cap. So that would be only in the following year. So we talk about maybe 24. They're not going to get him all the way to UFA, but they will maybe drop his first year and then increasing the money after that. When the salary cap will be more open up for that one over there. So thanks so much. Corey, we still stay in that subject. It maybe ask you this question at the end of the show. That'd be great. I bet on some turn down mid-year contract on Friend Forever with a bigger contract. It is confident. Mr. Love, welcome aboard. Thanks to be a part of the show. Do you think Matthew wants to stay in Toronto long term?
It's the $10 million question or $12 million question.
One at a time.
I think I don't think he is ready. Here's what's going to happen. If he sees progress in terms of them being able to win, I think it makes it a sexier proposition for him to stay there, right? But if they win something, especially if, let's say, they won the cup before he had to extend or something, I think it would almost be easier for him to move on to an American team. But to me, like, you grew up with these guys, you're building something, you want to see it through. Human nature, like you want to kind of finish what you start, but it's impossible to say we're not in his head.
I don't know.
But
I don't know though. Kachuk kind of proved this year that RFAs are getting a lot more control of the destiny, and for some reason, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about him staying in Toronto. It's not from any kind of intelligent point of view or anything. It's just a feeling I have. He doesn't seem to want to stay.
It's trending
there.
that way.
I don't know why, but
it's not trending well for Canadian teams, that's for sure. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We welcome Mr. Renaud. Thank you to be a part of the show.
Hey, Renaud.
Montreal, about that one over there. Let's go with Marco. About this one over there, I think it's about 37 miles before in our tap. So we'll go with Marco.
Slight, geographic edge to me on that one. So really exciting summer. I think we've all been following it pretty closely. So notable departures. Obviously the biggest one for this year is going to be Price. No Price. We'll start the year on long-term injury reserve. So that's a big one. The Weber contract leaving, that's obviously going to be really huge. But obviously the big additions for this year are primarily through moves that we made at the draft. So you got Slavkovsky, who's a pretty huge addition. Will be very interesting to see what happens at training camp there at the draft. Then we also go and pick up Kirby Doc. So huge question mark there as to where he'll fit in the lineup. Like we talked about at the top of the show, just too many forwards right now to really even understand the different line combinations that you would have there. Another huge departure is Romanov, further kind of weakening their already young defense. Even though he was a left-hand shot, he was firmly in our top four. So that's going to hurt in the short term here. I think the biggest story from now till the beginning of the season here is going to be there's less of a rush to kind of move these forwards in order to make some room for cap space. So that's not really an issue anymore. Now it's just too many bodies, and is it healthy to have that many guys? It's good to have competition, but when you have a whole fifth line that is NHL players, I'm not sure that's great for the room. Coach, I'd be curious to see what you'd say about that, being somebody that's managed a room before, but having like 3 NHL level players that may not play, it's good to have competition, but what will that do? So lots of question marks. To me, we've had these debates over the last couple of shows. This year is all about development. So, you don't want to put players in positions that are going to make it really difficult for them, make them look bad. You do want to give them good exposure. So I think that's the biggest challenge for Martin St-Louis here going into the season, is with all the mix of players that he has, is finding that right balance between giving the young players an opportunity to develop. I think we know it's going to be still a tough season, finishing probably bottom 5, but it's being able to be in the games, not be blown out, and not have a toxic environment where we go 10, 15 games with only winning a game or something. Like, that's, I think, what they really need to avoid, and what could be potentially harmful for some of the young players for this year. So still lots of things to follow.
Mr. Nortap, I read with price will been up the money for the ab. All is them here, they would get back.
Yeah, well, that comes off of your cap for sure, because he's put on the LTIR. Unfortunately, I don't personally, I don't believe we'll see Price play again. But by the same token, I think he's earned the right to try to claim all the money that is on that contract, and so we might see him there for a while until his contract's over, or they pull something like they did with Weber and he retires somewhere else. But make no mistake about it. Marco hit on a number of good points. Montreal is in a building situation, and I love so far what Gorton and Hughes have done with the team, how they have started to acquire assets, and they will accelerate it once they can clear up a couple more of their contracts. So even if for some reason they're doing well this year, by trade deadline time, we're going to see a drop in Montreal, because they're going to get rid of their Hoffman. Something will happen with Byron. Possibly Drouin will go. Dvorak might go, or Mia might go. Anything can happen with the forwards, because they have an excess there, and they want to start seeing what the younger kids, and we're seeing it right now with the juniors. There's 2 or 3 really good ones there that probably deserve a shot, if not next year, the year after.
Who do you believe in our top is going to back up for Jake Allen?
It's Montalban. They should keep Primo in Laval.
Okay. Renaud Marco has a question. As a center, that Charles Zuski, DUARTE, Dak, Monahan, Evans on paper.
Yeah, I just don't see, like, one of those guys is going to play wing. I know that Doc is really weak on face-offs, so I was kind of playing around with different line combinations, and maybe there's a fit there if Monahan is healthy to go to start the season. Maybe that is a good combination there potentially with Doc and Monahan, so that Monahan can be there to take some face-offs, take a little bit of pressure off him there. But yeah, that seems like the order. Monahan has the upside of playing, being a top 2 center if his body responds, but we'll have to see.
We have King ask this question. How much the cap space has been relieved by the end of the Abs 2022-23?
Possibly in the neighborhood of close to 20, I think, by the time all is said and done.
Okay. Luciano asks who will be the the captain for the Montreal.
Yeah, we talked about this before. It looks like Suzuki will be the next captain.
If if you can read tea leaves, everything that the PR department's been doing with him over the summer, that's what it looks like. I think we'll find out at the golf tournament. But you still hear rumblings about Gallagher as well, but I would be surprised. But it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Feels like it's Suzuki's team now. A lot more than it is Gallagher's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will, can Jonathan Drouin put up 50 points this year?
He could. He could.
He could, yeah. I think if he stays healthy and he finds a little chemistry and keeps his confidence up, he clearly has a talent for it. Yeah, I think he could make 50 points, especially if he's playing with either Suzuki or Caulfield for a little while. It's a great setup, man. So there's a good chance that if he clicks with Caulfield, he'll set him up for some goals. So if he gets 30, 35 assists, probably 15 goals, I think that sounds about right for Drouin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That one over there.
leaves
We
you
welcome
wanting more.
Mr. Sean B. is in the house with Mr. Fullen. The Rain is in the house. Thanks so much for that one over there. William, I have a question. Who will be the number one goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens? Marco?
Well, I think it's going to be Allen. No question about that. But we'll see if he can stay healthy. If not, then we're riding Montembeault all the way through the tank. So that should be, he should help the tank quite a bit if that's what the intent is. One little quick point on Drouin. This probably isn't super popular with everyone, but I think this is a huge opportunity for Drouin to actually change his career a little bit. I think I mentioned this in one of the other shows. Is if I was him and his agent, I would say, Drouin, it's time to reinvent yourself as a player a little bit. Try to why not try him killing penalties? Doing really working on his overall game, because I don't think he's ever going to be a 70, 80 point scorer. So give him a different role. If Martin Saint-Louis, try to give him a different role. You can still get 40, 45 points, but try to round out your game. Time to reinvent your career a little bit, because you're never going to be what you were supposed to be in terms of a third round pick.
Awesome. Mr. Nartap, I have a question for you, but I got it. Sorry about that. Do you think Carey Price hit him to come back or play, or he will retire?
Well, if his knee, responds to the operation he's going to undertake, he's definitely going to have the time to recuperate. If there's somebody that would like to go out on a different note than what he did this year, it's Carey Price, and I would put that faith in him. I think we lose sight of this. I mean, he's also going to see what's happening with this team, how they're progressing, how they're moving, how close are they getting to, a possible cup. He's got 4 years left on his contract. So if anybody can do it and he sees the team's going in the right direction, I would put my money down that he'll try to get back in.
All right. We have a question. Which center will score the most goal, assists, a point for the Abs?
Who's that one for, Coach?
Anybody?
Okay, so goals in terms of center, I'll say Suzuki for all three, to be honest. Goals, assists, and points.
That's pretty much it. Who would be the closest one?
I think closest one in goals?
No, on the three, whatever. The closest one to Suzuki, who's going to have the most point close to?
If he's absolutely healthy, I could say Monahan.
I don't think Dak's going to... Yeah. I think Dvorak will be what he is 45 points, close to 20 goals. So, yeah, depending if it's not Monahan, it's not going to be Dak. So
I'll go with
I would say...
me.
Oh, yeah. It says he's the safe bet. He's slow and steady, wins the race. Yeah.
40-50.
Luciano comment about Carey Price. A lot of people be angry with his price, but everyone needs to respect his decision as a normal human being. He has done a lot for the hockey. Yeah, absolutely right about that one over there. And then what we have here. Do you think the fans are forgetting what Carey Price did on the play, or do you think they have what Farr said they will be done for me lately at should?
I don't understand why people, why fans are. It's almost like they take it personally, like they're paying for his salary. I don't get it. Like that they're mad that, oh, he's gonna, like I just don't understand. Like insure, that's why they have insurance. Unless you're the administrator that works for the Montreal Canadiens that have to negotiate the insurance payments, I don't see why you'd be upset about what's going on. It's not going to impact the Canadiens in any way whatsoever if he's on LITR. Maybe in a slight way, like it's complicated. It's harder to kind of accumulate money when you have long-term injury reserve. But end of the day, it's not really going to change their ability to build a winner here if he's on LITR. So yeah, like it's strange to me that some fans almost take it personally that he's still getting it paid. Or so yeah, like just focus on the great things that he did. There was a really interesting statistic earlier today that during the whole time Carey Price was a Hab, he only had one forward that had over 80 points in his whole career, which was Alexei Kovalev, which was in his first season. Yeah. He's never had a player that had more than 80 points. Yeah.
I saw that. There was a tweet. Yeah, there was 4 Colorado players with over 80 points last year, right? So
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was his first year. So listen, like he brought us to the Stanley Cup final. Like, come on, guys.
All right.
Hard to.
All right, go ahead. And after that, do you think 35 goals from Cole Caulfield?
I definitely think it's possible. Will he get it? Possible, yeah. I think it's possible.
The tale of 2 seasons for him last year. It's
exactly.
He had a long drought. So if he can get past the half season hump and be more consistent, 35 goals is easily in his range, talent wise.
Yeah,
he's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah,
awesome. Do you think the Ab would be patient with developing Stafferkowski, or will you trade him in a few years?
Ooh, now you're going to get us to argue.
And I would definitely be patient with him. I know he's played already with men at different leagues, so he's probably NHL ready. But I wouldn't. I don't see the need for it this year. I would give him 1 more year, and then next year he's here for sure, for permanently.
All right. Do you play Evans at the wing and send ship Armia to Laval?
Or trade? Yeah, you have that flexibility. I just don't understand why you would play Evans at wing. Like, he's good on faceoffs, while Doc is really unproven at faceoffs so far. But yeah, he has played wing. Listen, like, you're always better off having more centers in your lineup because you have that flexibility. You can have lines. You can have guys taking draws on different side of the circle. So it's just nice to have overall. But by default, I view Evans as a winger, as a center, just because he is decent at faceoffs. He's your probably number 1 center in terms of killing penalties. So for me, I keep it center. But yeah, if you have a situation where you're trying to build a checking line, you can put him with a left-handed center and really build a nice checking line. But I like him at center.
Just to say this, Yann, if you send Armia to Laval, he has to go on the waiver list, and someone's going to claim him, and now you're losing a player for nothing. So you have to be careful when you act that way. And if he's not reclaimed by anybody, Montreal Canadiens have to pay Armia at $3.4 million AAV on the salary cap. So it's not an advantage for the Montreal to go that direction. So I just want to mention the rules of that between everything like this. Blackhawks asked a question, Mr. Notar, I think it's just quickly, will Price retire or go to a different team?
I think he stays here in Montreal. Whether he plays again, I'm not sure, but I think he'll end it here.
So the big difference with what happened with Weber is that Weber had no money on his contract towards the end, so it was attractive for another team to take it. But Price has like, you know, money on his contract till the very last year, so you won't be able to move him the same way that you did Weber.
It was front loaded, yeah.
Do you believe or do you said Monahan has moved upside over Dak right now?
I don't think so.
For
I don't
this
know. It's
season? I mean, maybe if he's healthy, he has more upside this season than Dak. But I mean, Dak obviously has more upside in his career for sure.
Absolutely right.
It's just,
how do you recover from hip surgery? I don't know.
Double hip surgery.
Yeah.
I don't. I think he has to overcome too much personally. So yeah, I mean, maybe you go with Dak. I mean, Dak's a real wild card if he figures it out this year. He got a really talented player. Changes the whole thing.
Monahan is just a zero risk, though, right?
I love his attitude so far. He looks like he wants to come here and he wants to prove himself again, but we'll see.
Before we go to the next question, I have a question for each one of you and the insider. Maybe in the chat you can do that. It's on our tap 2-2 overtime. Who win?
Hey, Canada, of course.
Canada. Marco.
I'm gonna go Canada too. Yeah.
Will.
Canada for sure.
All right.
Have to go Canada.
Finland's win 3-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kapanen's gonna score for Finland.
It's an ambush.
Raddy is going to score for Finland tonight. I know team.
Raddy. Yeah, it'll be his first point tonight.
Here we go. So let's move on to the next question. We have another question. If not, we have to go all the way back. Do you see Roy as the greatest goaltender or just a great goaltender for the Abs?
The greatest goaltender?
He's in the conversation for sure, man.
Yeah,
but
yeah. He is. It's
hard
hard because
about that.
Yeah, Dryden and also Dryden. But
I don't. I think was the best money goaltender of all time. And I think many people have voted that in the past. Oh my God, Finland almost scored there. That was very close.
Don't say that.
Coach was almost right. They cleared it, went to the goal line, and then they cleared it out. It's pretty close.
Oh my God.
So what best money goaltender of all time? But I would vote for Hasek probably as one of the best, if right there. I don't know.
All right.
For sure.
Let's move on to the next question. Do you believe that Dadonov will surprise all in Montreal? I believe they will keep him.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I think he doesn't fit into the plans, given his age. The best thing that could happen is he does have a good year and they get a nice return at trade deadline time.
Yeah, like I think they're going to give him every chance to succeed. Like I think they'll put him in a good position to build up his value. But see, that's kind of what I was saying earlier, guys. Like when you really look at the lineup, you know, they want all these players to play well. There you go. Canada just scored.
Did they?
Johnson. Yeah.
All right. Beautiful.
All right. So now I can focus 100%. Right. So yeah.
So you can sing the national anthem now.
We all can.
Yeah.
In French too.
Yeah. So that's the problem though, is that you have all these players that you want to build up their value and trade them off, but how are you going to put them in positions to succeed, right? Like if you really try to build the lines together now, like there's just too many forwards, and so you want to put Drouin in a good position to succeed and build up his value. Same thing with Hoffman. Same thing with Dadonov. Same thing with Armia. Like there's just not enough space, and then especially if you're going to bring Slavkovsky and if he is going to play, it's just crazy. Like it's going to be a real puzzle for St. Louis to put together, but then also keep Hughes happy because, you know, he wants to kind of showcase those guys and get assets from them. So I don't know. got to do something before the season starts here, you would think, but they're not in a rush because they don't need the cap space anymore. So I guess he's in a position of power or a position of patience that he doesn't have to move those guys, so that's good. But it's going to be tricky.
I have every night I do a poll question for the channel, and I did it at 8:30. And my question is about who is the best player for Team Canada tonight without knowing the score. And I put McDavid, Johnson, Bedard, and Joshua Roy, and any other player. So I think people will go from that one over there. Let's move on. If you have any other question, Salah, here you go. Welcome aboard, Mr. Salah. Thanks to be a part. Attention. Nicolas de Goubi-Bon. No! Welcome back dans l'appel province de Québec. And that's what we have. Canada just won. About this will bring a leadership. Adam, where do you think that Denver will end up with Montreal? What do you think of the hire of Stefan Rabidas as assistant coach? And after that, you have 30 seconds. You're on timer right now.
Good. I like it. I thought it was a good hire. It's the only thing is obviously the lack of experience. No, he's got some experience. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Awesome.
You still got Burrows back there, so you got Burrows. You got my boy Burrows back there, so coaching will be fine.
Doing it. Hopefully he can improve that power play though.
yeah, that's
fair enough.
All right, let's move on for the next two. Will, you go to pick it up, the last two one very quickly. We'll try to get these guys in 10 minutes so we can do the Frenchy quiz at 11 o'clock. So let's move on with Edmonton, and then we're going to finish with Calgary. And Will, you're the closest one, so in our time can fall asleep for a couple of minutes. You need to take a nap right now.
Sure. Well, I think getting Campbell in goal is an upgrade right off the bat. I love a full year of Evander Kane. Keeping Brett Kulak is an underrated move. I feel like they're not just a Draisaitl McDavid team anymore. You know, Yamamoto, guys like these are pulling another step. They're getting 20 goals. So there's more guys coming at you. You know, Darnell Nurse healthy. I don't know the status of Clefbaum if he's going to be available this year. That would be huge, but I don't know.
No.
I think that I think you're going to get amazing seasons from McDavid and Draisaitl. It's going to be mostly about them, but they're a deeper team. I think that they could take another step. They still got to get through the Avalanche and possibly a more improved Flames team.
That's awesome.
Good analysis. Yeah.
Mr. Natap, any comments about Edmonton Oilers?
I think they're going to take another step forward. I thought last year was a great playoff run for them. I don't think many people. There were points in the year that they were questioning whether they were going to even make the playoffs the way things were going. But they proved the critics wrong. They took a gamble with Evander Kane, and it worked out well. And they did it again this summer by re-signing him. I anticipate with Campbell in there, they've I wouldn't say that they've solved their goaltending position, but it's gotten a lot better and more consistent. That's for sure.
It can't get worse than Mike Smith, man.
It's still a roller coaster a little bit with Campbell for sure. And what I forgot to mention was Ryan McLeod gives them another very decent center, which is what they've lacked before. If they want to team up Draisaitl and McDavid if they want to team up Draisaitl and McDavid for a stretch, McLeod I think can handle 2C for a little while in spells. So that's a huge upgrade for them as well.
Absolutely.
Breakout player possibility, Dylan Holloway. Really good player. Used to play with Caulfield. So that's a player to look out for. That's even more depth. I think you can jump in on your third line and provide good value right away.
We have a good welcome, Mr. Puck Monkey tonight. Welcome aboard. Someone pick up that one. Will the Battle of Alberta even exist?
Oh yeah,
always.
It's intensified now.
I think it will miss a Kachuk, but
Kachuk is a spicy ingredient for sure. But we didn't see that in the playoffs for 2 years in a row. So that's all that matters for Edmonton and Calgary at this point is how they play in the playoffs, and they're gonna have to go through each other if they're both in there. And as a hockey fan, I'm all for it.
We want to
That'd be great.
welcome Baron and Mr. Miko Love. Sharks HD is in the house. Do you see Edmonton in final, Mr. Nota?
In the finals overall, or just in the West?
I think so.
The 4?
In final 4. Sorry.
In the final 4, yeah, I could see them. I could see them in that position. I think they're built for it. I think the fact that they had a nice, relatively deep run this year will only help them. And we saw McDavid really take it to a different gear last year in the playoffs.
I agree. Yeah.
And who other than Colorado really scares them at this point? You know, it all depends on where the matchups lay when they start the playoffs. I think Final Four is an easy thing for them to get to, possibly, depending on Colorado, of course. But that's really the only team I think that can give them any fear at this point.
Thank you, Danny, about that one there. One player we don't talk about in Montana, I think, is underrated. Always said Matthias Janmark. He does a lot of things in hockey when nobody pay attention. He does the details. He was with Vegas. I think he's an asset better what the Edmonton could expect at the bottom 6 because there's always been a problem with that. I think Janmark could fit very well on that organization for sure. I can't wait to see Xavier Bourgault. I don't see he will make it. But with Dylan Holloway, I think they are really the best 2 prospects they have to be close to this. Brober is another defenseman. If we give him the time, that'll be interesting about that.
I expect Bouchard to really take a big step forward this year.
Here we go.
Great season last year.
Calgary. Let's start with Will for Calgary Flame, and then everybody at the bottom you can add in and out, whatever they are.
What an offseason for people with heart problems if you're a Calgary fan. My gosh. So it started off with everybody wanting to leave, and it was doomsday, and everybody couldn't believe it. And everyone doesn't want to be part of the Flames right now. Let's blow it up. And then all of a sudden, here we go. Brad Treliving on the corner up against the ropes pulls off some masterful work to get their team back up to relevance. Can't believe they got Weegar, as well as Huberdeau got them both signed. Now he's got Kadri. All of a sudden, I'm looking at a deeper team, if not quite as dynamic. I see a much deeper team, and I think GM of the year at this point. I mean, Flames fans are got to be excited. I mean, up against the ropes, looking so dour only 2 weeks ago, and here we are. Excited to see what they do. I still think that some of the D issues are there. If Tanev can't stay healthy, that's a big loss, and that they hurt them last year. And, of course, Markstrom runs hot and cold. He was amazing during the regular season and obviously was not good against Edmonton.
Outgoaled by Mike Smith.
After that, there you go. After that, they got Mangiapane. If he can take another step up, I think it's a team that's going to stay relevant. I think it's between them and Edmonton for sure. And like I said earlier, it's all about chemistry. They've got a lot of new players in, and if they click, great. But there's a chance that Huberdeau is not going to match up with Lindholm, and there's going to be issues with that. Maybe the fit's not there. They lost a little bit of speed with Huberdeau, definitely. So we'll see how it goes. But I do like the moves that they made, especially up against the ropes. It was quite fun to watch, for sure.
Great comments, Will, about this one over there. Let's move on here, Mr. Nartap. We have a question before we were shut down in Moncton from Andy, Mr. Nartap. Has the Oilers improved enough to make its friends?
Yeah, I think it has, Andy. Like I said, I personally expect bigger things out of Bouchard this year, and he had a decent year last year. They could still use a little bit of improvement. But I think that they're relatively set for now.
So
I think they will try to improve it.
Cody Ceci.
Do you believe?
Yeah, it's worrisome.
Do you believe that
Kulak is a big improvement there?
Kulak is the other one. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So do you believe the impact of without Keith is going to be better, worse, or they're going to be fine with Brober and Kulak and Nurse?
I think they're fine on their left side.
Uh,
I think they're fine on their left
I think
side.
so.
Like you got Bouchard on the right. Again, like to me, the missing piece there, Tyson Barrie is what he is. Like he's a good utility piece, a good power play guy. As long as you play him on your bottom pair and kind of protect him a little bit on 5-on-5. To me, the weak link there is CC. So if you can bring in a piece at the trade deadline or move out a little bit of that center depth, even though you just work so hard to get that center that forward depth, I think sacrificing one, like whether it's a Yamamoto or a Puljujarvi kind of guy to really cement that back end with another right hand D, then I think Edmonton, that's what I like about Calgary, right? Is even before Tree Living was able to raise the dead, like Will was kind of explaining after everything went terrible. Even before that, I still thought Calgary would have a shot because they're built from the back, right? So solid D, good goaltending, even though he didn't play well in the playoffs. But now, like Will said, like they're arguably just as good as last year now. So I think Edmonton is so close, man. If they just could lock down another right-hand D position, then I think they would be ahead of Calgary by a lot. But right now,
get in line though.
easy.
Get in line.
I think
what
they'll
team
address it,
doesn't
though.
need a right-handed
I think-
D.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a right-hand D. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. We've seen Calgary now. Franco Iacono. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. One plus, I think you guys did not talk, is Jacob Pelletier for Calgary Flame. I think he's another player can join that team. Could be another starting like a Dylan Dubé or something like that at the top, at the third line. That would push Coleman or Toffoli to go on the higher level. So
First
I think
or second,
Pelletier could have a spot with the Calgary Flame for the upcoming year. I think that will be someone. How long do you think it will take Calgary to get together before they are a threat?
Gel together before they're a threat. Well, we hope that happens, right? I think Will alluded to that earlier. I worry more about whether Huberdeau can produce once it comes to playoff time. That's my only concern.
Yeah.
But having said that,
Neither did Kachuk.
neither did Kachuk, right? Exactly.
I agree, man.
So we'll see, but they should gel together, and Huberdeau's consistently been a point per game man and even higher. So I anticipate that to be the case. And Kadri's going to go in there, and he's got a bit of it looks like he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder too. He wants to prove himself, and
he's got a cup now.
And then you got Sutter, right? Like, if anybody can wrangle Cats, it's going to be Sutter.
I was going to say that the really strength in Sutter is systems play, and he'll be ahead of that. He'll be on top of that, and he's one of the best in the game at that. For sure.
This one is for Will. How many points does Kadri has on the top 6 for the Flame?
I do not think that he's going to match Colorado's totals because of the wingers that he had, but I think he's a lock for 70 points.
Marco, I agree or not agree?
I think that's a very top end. I'd say, 60 to 70 points. Yeah.
All right.
65.
Do we have anything else? Andy, Sutter has his hands full with his new team and attitude.
Attitude?
I don't know. I think he brought that team well.
Yeah.
Like he brought that team together pretty well.
I thought
I think so.
Maybe.
They was pretty good.
Yeah.
So we did through all the team tonight. Honestly, we thanks everybody. We don't have no time to ask you who's going to make it because it's already 11 o'clock. But great show so far with all the people in the chat, and staying the continent was pretty good. Thanks, everybody. But before we leave, we have to get there because in our top right now is a slum. He said to me before the show, he said, look, I need to win this week now. I did not win the last couple of nights, so please, you leaving for the week. So I want to be sure I can be the best on the Frenchy quiz again. So I said, that's okay.
Sure.
So which answer? So I gave him the answer, but
B.
don't tell anybody. So we'll be interested to see how he's going to act tonight.
A.
And it's a little bit hard tonight. It's a little bit hard, but that's the beauty of what we do every single night.
Last night
and usually,
in the US coach, you're trying to torture us.
Usually, we give already a free point for the new insider. So we'll start with a W already. We give him a point already because he's a new one in the chat tonight. So 1 point, Mr. Natap. You're 1 point.
You want to make sure I don't win.
Here we go. How many players did score their 500 goal between 1990 and 1999? How many of them did it? 9 front players, 11, 13, or 15? How many of them did their 500 goal between 1990 and 1999? Good luck, everybody. Thank you, Blackhawks. Adam, thank you so much. Jan, Jose, King of Gamer, Mark Rabinowitz. Mark is amazing, guys. He's always here. Don't talk a lot, but he listens. RJ, Nicolas, William, Ron. Thanks so much. We have Andy, Real Deal, Joseph, Luc Laverson. Joseph, thanks so much. And we have Lucino, and Danny T, and Game Winner Bobby got it. And we have Vinny. Thanks so much. Let's start it with Mr. Enartap. You're the first one beside me, and we'll go Marco and Will. I maybe gave you an extra point.
I'm going to go with C, 11.
11 for C. Marco?
I'm going to go D, 13.
13. Will?
I'm going to go B.
B with 9. Here we go. Mont-Tremblant is a C for that one over there. Mr. Natap, what would be your second answer?
It was
That's never
D,
good.
13. It's 13. But
You're absolutely right, Mr. Natap, again.
Oh, my God.
I should be racking up half points.
Marco Larabi, Deal, Joseph Laham, RJ, Will with his extra point got that one over there. So your mulligan is over, Mr. Will. But let's see what he's going to do for the second question of the night. Here we go. We have 46 plus for 500 goal and the NHL. How many of them did it in the 21st century? 13, 15, 19, 17, 21. Good luck, everybody.
In the
21st century.
Adam, thank you. I think Kelly was for your first question, right? Then Blackhawks, thank you. RJ, thank you. Jose, thank you. Nicolas, thank you. William, thank you. Danny, thank you. Mark, thank you. I'll go with another type answer for this one. All right, Kelly, I got it. Game, I got you. Joseph, I got you. Real Deal, I got you. And during the time, everybody here answer. Luc Lafortune, I got you. Marco.
I think I'm going to stick with Lucky 13 and go with A.
A, I got you. And Mr. Will. Vinny, I got you.
I'm going all the way to E, 21.
21, I got you. And Do you trust your partner, Mr. Nortap? You give us the right answer and the wrong answer.
I'm going to go with D, 19.
19. Do you have another answer, Mr. Nortap?
Oh my God. Yes, I do have another answer. It was C, my other answer.
But you are right, Mr. Nortap, with D.
You scared me.
So in our tab, Danny T, Kelly, and everybody with Marco, Deal, Joseph, RJ, and Will are all at one at that moment. Congratulations for each one of you. We go to move on to question number 3 of the night. Here we go. By the way, Mr. Nortap, King of Gamer got 1 point because of you.
Oh, okay.
From this list, which year did not have any player score their fifth 500 goal? And 70, 71, 72, 73, or 74?
That's right in our wheelhouse, eh, Will?
For sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Blackhawks. Lucky, thank you. Adam, thank you. Kelly, thank you. Jan, thank you. Nicola, thank you. Ron, William, Jose, Andy, King, thank you. RJ, thank you. Mark, thank you. Danny, thank you. Montremblant, thank you. Luc Lafortune, thank you. I want to be sure. Mr. Will.
We're going B.
B, like a boy.
That's right, like a boy.
Here we go.
That's probably going to lose.
And Real Deal. And Mr. Inartap. Vinny, I got you.
I'll go with C, 1972.
All right. And Marco.
Coach and Entertap, do you remember which year Watergate was? Was it 73 or 74?
I don't remember.
You remember now? Okay, I think Watergate was 73, so we'll go 73.
All right. And Mr. Nortap, any other question and answer you want to do?
Here we go again. I was going to go with B, but...
But it was C, Mr. Nortap. Okay. You and Joseph Laham take the lead at that moment. Inartap and Joseph Laham with 2 good answers so far. Congratulations, Mr. Inartap. And 2 and 3 so far. Let's move on to question number 4 of the night. All right, this one is... one statement is not good or is not true about Phil Esposito. He shot 550 shots on the net in one season. He's the first player in the NHL to score 70 goals in one season. He's the first to do 100 points in one season. He did have 4th straight number in NHL. He has 14 seasons of 30 goals and more in NHL. Which one of them are not true about Phil Esposito?
It's not true.
Nicolas, I got you. Everybody can win so far. Danny, I got you.
Marco, you going to go Watergate again?
RJ, I got you. Adam, I got you. Kelly, I got you. Mr. K, I got you. Luciano, I got you. Ron, I got you. Blackhawks, I got you. Andy, I got you.
550 shots in one season.
Andy, William, Mark, Jose, Jan, Luc, game winning, welcome. Dale, I got you. And Mr. Inartap.
Me again?
Yeah, we did a turn.
Yeah. He has 14 seasons of 30 goals or more.
Joseph, I got you.
That's probably true. I'm looking at the. He did have 4 different numbers in the NHL. I don't think he did. I'm going to go with D.
D, I got you.
Yeah.
Marco?
So I hate it when you choose the answer I was going to choose because it looks like I'm just following what you said, and I don't want to be tied with you. I'd rather just take a risk and be right, and you were wrong. So what seems like the most obvious, like I'll say E didn't score 30 goals because it might be 13. So I'm taking a risk.
I got you. All right. And Mr. Marco, Will.
I'm with Marco on that one where I was certain it could be D, but now I want to do the same thing here, and I'm gonna have to go off the board.
You go with
A
E?
A seems really outlandish because that's a ridiculous number, but it's probably true. Let's go C.
C.
Maybe somebody else had 100 points before him.
All right. C. I got you. And I need to go with, here we go. The answer this one, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God! Great job again, Mr. Enartap on that one, but no. It was all Marco on that one. He has 13 season of the 30 goal. And that's what he got. Mr. Enartap, for some reason, he won number 5 or something like that. I cannot remember.
I don't remember that at all.
A crazy number. Like, you know,
all the other ones are reasonable. Like I knew A was right.
So yeah, 7.
Really, yeah?
He won. He won number 7, 12, 5, and 77.
Oh, wow.
5.
Okay.
5 is a weird one. I don't see that.
Yeah.
I don't picture him wearing 5.
Got it right there. He Hall was the first 100.
He wore them all with the Boston with the Rangers. So that's what happened about this. Gamer have a point right there. Gamer, where are you? Gamer, anyway, you're 2. Oh, he was right here. So Gamer, but Joseph Laham take the lead right now at 3, guys. Joseph Laham have at 3. Here we go. Last question of the night. One statement is not true about Kevin Klein. So it was easy, Esposito, but now maybe not this one. He played for 2 different teams. He wore 2 different number. Has 2 seasons with 2 goals. He signed 2 times as a free agent as a hockey professional. 2 times he have 2 points in the playoff.
Oh my God.
It's all about the 2 on that one.
I noticed.
It's real high profile player, right? So it's...
Yeah. When you said Kevin Klein, I thought you meant the actor that played in that.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Adam, I got you.
Great movie, by the way. It's called Wanda.
RJ, I got you. Jose, I got you. Nicola, I got you. Adam, I got you. Yann Giannet, I got you. Ron, I got you. Blackhawks, I got you. William Snyder, I got you. Vinny 007, I got you. Real Deal, I got you. Mr. K, I got you. Yann Giannet, I got you. Andy Kuivula, I got you. And then I have Andy Luc Lafortune, I got you. Let's start it with Michael at some point. Mr. Bobby, I got you. Joseph, I got you. Marco, possibly you can tie the game.
When for D, you mean like he signed as a free agent twice, like as UFA RFA and then UFA? Is that what you mean?
UFA, yeah, somewhere like not necessarily in NHL.
Oh, not necessarily in NHL.
I said as a hockey professional.
As a hockey professional.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'll go D then.
All right. Luc, I got you. Mark Rabinowitz, I got you. Joseph Laham, I got you. Danny, I got you. King, I got you. Kelly, I got you. And Mr. Will.
I remember he played on a couple of teams, but I'm thinking maybe he got a number, so I'm going to go B.
B.
Yeah.
And Mr. Enarta.
I'm going to go with...
Tie the game possible. You have a chance?
I'll go with E. Sounds
Which one?
Low. E. The last one.
The last one, like Eagle.
Yes.
You think that's low for him? I think it's probably high for him. 2 points.
No, I just don't see him scoring at all.
Kevin Klein was an all-star. How dare you?
So the last answer, guys, of this one over there, if it's E, and Joseph is wrong, and Enarta win, and it's exactly what happened, is E, that answer. He tied the game with Joseph Laham. They are the two people who win the game tonight. Joseph Laham and Mr. Enarta are the winner of the contest tonight. He has signed Mr. Marco with NHL, but he wants to Swiss, play 1 year as a UFA free agent at the end of his career. He never reached 2 points in the playoff. He did it only 1 season. He has 2 seasons with 2 goals. He played with 2 different numbers, and he played with 2 different teams, 3 years and 4 years. I believe he played only 7 years in NHL. That's complete, guys. Congratulations for Mr. Enarta and Mr. Joseph Laham tonight. Congratulations, both of you.
Here you go, Joseph.
Good job.
Unfortunately, with you 3 points, will you stay? You are stuck or whatever. We don't tell anybody. But we tell you one thing: you did a very good job as an insider, and we thank you so much to be a part. Of course, this is the first time. It's not going to be the last time for sure. Mr. Marco, always a pleasure to having you aboard, and Mr. Nartap, the gold of the All Insider, the captain of the Insider, the Hockey National Show. Thanks so much for your participation, and for everybody in the chat. This is my last one of the year number 2 as a live stream, and this is my last time in USA if I can cross the border somewhere. But I will be back this week, but we don't have no night. I will let you know about this. Possible Wednesday night or Thursday night. By the way, everything is open on the air. I will see what they look like, the internet, everything like that. So I wish you an amazing, great week. So until the next time, I will see you, everybody. We appreciate your participation, for your support at the Hockey National Show. We reached a 5,200 subscribers, send a day number 1, and you're the reason why the channel is growing slowly, properly, and a beautiful thing. We have an amazing, great family, and you are the one to make it friends for Insider. And the people in the chat, we want to thank you so much for your participation. But we cannot leave here the building without tell to Mr. Nartap, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember,
have a great trip, Coach.
Greatness inside of you.
Hey,
What a night, everybody. We appreciate a lot for everybody to be a part of the show tonight. Of course, we'll be back during the week. We'll be back directly from Thailand, maybe a Hooters or somewhere, Mr. Natap. I can't wait to show my picture when I'm going to be see Miss Hina. Who knows? Until then, my friend, we wish you an amazing, great night, a sweet dream. But, of course, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, or find a way to dominate what, Mr. Natap, the second half of what?
2022.
2022. Thanks so much, everybody. And of course, we love you people. Have an amazing, great night. Thank you, Will, Marco, and Enartap tonight.
Have a great trip, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Have a good trip. Stay safe, sir.
Thank you, Will, Marco, and Enartap. Thank you, the captain of the moderator, Mr. Danny T. We want to thank Mr. Jose Calabro. Jose Calabro. No, it's Jose Duarte, Insider, assistant captain of the moderator. And we want to thank Mr. RJ Calabro for all the help, for all the update around the league, around the NHL and Team Canada tonight, honestly. And then we want to thank everybody in the chat, Mr. RJ Calabro, Vinny007, thanks so much. Yann Gionnet, thank you. King of Gamer, thanks so much. Nicolas de Bouvi Bonneau. Oui, mon nom, demain soir. Merci, Deal. Appreciate that. Kelly, thanks so much again. We appreciate a lot, everybody in the chat. We have a lot of people. Luc Lafortune, thank you so much. Joseph Laham, congratulations for tonight. Danny T again. King of Gamer, thanks so much. Mark Rabinowitz, William Snyder, thanks so much again to be a part of the show tonight. Blackhawks 97, we thank so much again. Vinny007, like we mentioned earlier. Thanks so much, Jose. 11 hour King. 11 hours. Mr. Bobby, thanks so much. Thank you, Nicolas. Antique Wivula. Thank you, buddy. Thanks to be with us tonight. Marjo Delaney.